Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. The Canadian press reports that a legal challenge in British Columbia against a Catholic-run hospital's denial of medical assistance in dying, MAID, has entered its closing phase. The lawsuit targets St. Paul's Hospital in Vancouver, operated by Providence Healthcare, which prohibits MAID on religious grounds. Gay O'Neill, mother of Samantha O'Neill, who died after being transferred from St. Paul's for MAID, testified that her daughter's final hour was unbearably painful. She alleges the hospital imposed the Archbishop of Vancouver's beliefs, impeding her daughter's access to the procedure. Lawyer Robin Gage emphasized that patients needing MAID at faith-based facilities are forced to accept risks associated with such transfers, a practice the lawsuit aims to overturn. Groups representing women's shelters in Canada are praising the government's move to criminalize coercive control through Bill C-16, introduced last year. Appearing before the House of Commons Justice Committee, Crystal Giesbrecht, director of research at a Saskatchewan-based shelter group, stated that criminalization would empower survivors to report abuse and seek protection, as current laws often leave victims without recourse until physical or sexual assault occurs. Quebec women's shelters echoed this support, viewing it as a new tool to combat domestic violence and break the cycle of abuse, which is a known predictor of homicide. They emphasized the critical need for adequate training for police officers and prosecutors to ensure effective implementation. However, some women's organizations, such as the National Association of Women and the Law, warned of potential backlash. Director Suzanne Zakor expressed concern that a provision concerning the care of children could be exploited by abusers to falsely accuse victims of controlling behavior, making it more challenging for them to escape abusive situations. This report is from the Canadian press. Global News reports that Canada's Federal Jobs Minister, Patty Hajdu, is actively encouraging young people to pursue careers in the skilled trades. Speaking at the University of Ottawa, Hajdu highlighted the historical stigma associated with trades, where a university degree was often seen as the only path to success. However, she now asserts that skilled trades offer lucrative and honorable job prospects, often surpassing the earning potential of many traditional university-educated professions. The minister stressed the critical need for skilled workers to support the Liberal government's ambitious housing and infrastructure agenda, especially as older workers retire. Prime Minister Mark Carney echoed this sentiment, calling it a great time for youth to enter the trades. The federal government is exploring various incentives to help young workers complete apprenticeships and training. These efforts come as Canada faces a youth unemployment rate of 13.8% in March, prompting government initiatives like extending student grants and loans and opening applications for 100,000 positions through the Canada Summer Jobs Program, all aimed at better integrating young people into the labor market. CTV News reports that closing arguments have begun in a significant legal challenge in British Columbia. The lawsuit targets St. Paul's Hospital in Vancouver, a facility operated by Catholic provider Providence Healthcare, for its policy of denying medical assistance in dying or MAID on religious grounds. The case is brought by Gay O'Neill, whose daughter, Samantha O'Neill, had advanced cervical cancer and chose MAID in 2000 and 2023. According to her mother, Samantha experienced unbearably painful final hours after being sedated and transferred to another facility because St. Paul's prohibits the procedure. lawyer Robin Gage argued to the court that such forced transfers expose patients to unavoidable risks, and those receiving care at publicly funded, faith-based facilities have no alternative but to accept these risks. The challenge is built on Samantha's legacy and highlights concerns over institutional religious obstruction to end-of-life care. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.